knew that. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to go somewhere that it wasn't easy, but something that would challenge me and make me a better student. So academics, number one. Number two, I was a runner. I wanted to go to a college that had an excellent running program. So again, it could challenge me. I wanted to go to a team that was better than I was, and I did. Number three, it's really important. Listen. I wanted to go somewhere warmer than Cleveland, Ohio. I wanted to go south. I wanted to go somewhere that didn't snow for 7 months out of the year. Well, what feels like it, at least. But that's where you need to decide for yourself what is important to you. And I hope academics, if you're going to college, is an important thing, because that should be everybody's number one priority. But the second thing, that's where it's key, because that's where you're going to find a college, if that's what you're looking for, that's personal and helps you. And it starts right now. Start deciding, what is it that I like to do, that I can do well, and that I want to turn into a career? And it starts 7th grade. So when I went to college, I went to the University of Virginia. So I went to a very highly rated academic school. I went to a running program that was better than me. I was the 9th girl on the team. Only 7 make varsity. So I had to earn my way up, and I did. I ended up being captain of my team and led my team, and we went to nationals and all that stuff. But it took a lot of hard work, just like from 7th grade to the day after I graduated from high school to win a state championship. It was going to take time, but I was prepared to do it. I had to be patient. No instant gratification there. And then I also went to Virginia as a lot warmer, like Cleveland, Ohio. They had a forecast of snow one time, and they closed school. It didn't even snow. Here, you're like praying for snow day, and it's like 6 inches out there, and you still have to go to school. You got to put the boots on and all that stuff. Yeah, great. No. So I did that. I got all 3 of them done. That was fantastic. Okay, so I'm there. What do I do with this now? I found somewhere I want to be. Well, I was the runner there, and I told you I was captain. I was a leader of the team. Well, I went out into the community because I'm going to go back now. Remember my friend from 7th grade? He was still with me along the way, still my friend and still part of my life. I wanted to touch lives of other kids that were like him because it made a huge impression on me when I was in 7th grade, just like you. Something that made such a huge impression on me when I was 12 years old continued with me once I was over 18 and in college. So as a student athlete at the University of Virginia, I was a mentor to at-risk youth, meaning kids that had been emotionally and physically abused, had difficulty paying attention in class, had difficulties, just working because of all these different issues in their homes or just whatever it was in life that just didn't make it easy for them. And that's okay. But it was people like the student athletes at UVA, where I went to school, to go into those schools and work with those kids. So it was great. So I worked with that kid. I worked with a specific kid for over a year, actually. I tutored a couple kids, but the one I tutored for over a year. It was really neat. And I said, this is something I really want to make into a career. And I want to do something in the legal field because I want to be able to really have an impact and protect the rights of children that are in difficult situations. That's what I wanted to do. So I decided I wanted to go to law school, but I wanted to learn more about what would be the juvenile court, because that's the legal side of what affects kids, the juvenile court. So there's a juvenile court in Charlottesville, Virginia, where I went to college, and I went to them and I said, hey, I'd like to volunteer, and just to see what the juvenile court is about. Because just like when Lauren and I were younger and we made our own opportunities to make money and to have, do something that we were good at and liked to do, we created our own newspaper. Well, I needed to create my own class because there was no juvenile law class in college. So that's why I went to the juvenile court and said, hey, how can I help out? And they were so impressed and so excited that somebody actually wanted to help that they paid me. So you're not allowed to volunteer, we're going to pay you. Great. Paid more than 10 cents a copy for a newspaper. That was great too. So it was nice. So I got a little bit of money, so I didn't have to waitress at a restaurant or something like that. I actually learned something and got paid for it and had a wonderful experience. And I learned a lot about the juvenile court. And that's when I decided, I said, you know what? I'm going to be a juvenile court judge when I grow up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to law school, and that's what I'm going to do. So I graduated, went to law school. Sole purpose in life was to become a juvenile court judge. And they had one juvenile law class in law school. So it was better than none. I didn't have to make my own class exactly, but they had one. So I took it, but at the same time I wanted to learn more. So the first year of law school, I worked with a judge. I was a clerk for a judge at the juvenile court here in Cuyahoga County. The second year, I worked with the administration, which means the people behind the scenes that oversee the whole court. I worked with them. And then after that, I worked in the prosecutor's office, and I worked in child support. So I worked in all different aspects of the juvenile court, and I learned a tremendous amount. And then when I graduated from law school and became an attorney, for 11 years, I was an attorney that represented children and families in the juvenile court, which is what I wanted to do. Because eventually I wanted to be a judge, and that's what I'm going to get to. But I was an attorney for 11 years, and I handled all different types of cases. And these are the 5 cases that a juvenile court handles. So your sitting lesson for today. Handle delinquencies, which is criminal. So when a kid does something bad, steals something, whatever, does bad stuff, we have criminal side. Then we have cases that are called agency cases, when children are removed from their homes because they are unsafe in their homes. Just like my friend in 7th grade. Exactly like my friend in 7th grade. See? 7th grade comes back to haunt you. Then there's cases that are private custody cases when parents are not married and they have children and they need to figure out a visitation schedule. We handle those to help them with that. We have child support to make sure that kids have, both parents are paying their fair share so that you can have clothes on your back and food on your table. And then we handle traffic. So those 16-year-olds that are just getting their license and getting car accidents and run a red light, guess who they come and see? Me at the juvenile court. They come see us. That's part of our job. We handle all those 5 different types of cases. And that's what I do. So for 11 years I was an attorney, and then I became a judge. And as a judge, it is an amazing experience. And I've handled every type of case, from traffic, from the kid that ran the red light, to murder. It's a lot. There's a lot of serious stuff that goes down at the juvenile court. A lot of responsibility. I have kids and families come into my courtroom every day that have experiences that I never experienced necessarily as a person myself, but that I saw starting in 7th grade. Because I stood by my friend and I watched him go through difficult times. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to feel sorry for him, but I'm going to be his friend. And I'm going to do what I can as a person to help other kids like him. I found something that I liked. I found things that I was good at along the way, and I turned them into things that I could do. And that's why it's so important to look back at where you started to where you are right now. This is you. That's you right now. And then look at all of what you have to go. You have high school, you have college, or whatever will come after high school that will help prepare you to be going on to either grad school or career job so that you can be productive, so that when you get to here, which is not an end point, keep in mind, just ran out of space. You want to figure out what you want to be when you grow up. But make sure it's something that you're good at, that you like to do, so that you can help somebody else be a better person too. That make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Now, do you have any questions about the juvenile court or what it means to try to find your way through here? Because I'm open to questions. There's no wrong question. Nothing? Come on. Yes.
What did you end up studying in college to get to this point?
Good question. Excellent. I was an American government major, and I minored in Spanish. I also could have minored in sociology, but they didn't let me double minor. I took Spanish from, when can you start Spanish? 7th grade?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. 7th grade. I started with Mrs. Blessing, then I had Miss Pinto, then I had Senor Norman, and then I had Senor Cornwell. I name all my teachers. And I liked it so much when I was in Rocky River schools that I kept doing it in college. And I took Spanish every single semester of college, every single one. It was awesome. It was so much fun. So again, look at that. I didn't even plan that for my little talk. That started in 7th grade too. 7th grade is a pretty cool year, I think. Yes. Yes, you.
How much years did you spend
In college? In college, I was there for 4 years. And I graduated in 4 years. And then I went to law school. I'm going to extend your question. Law school was 3 years, but I also got my master's degree in public administration, which generally takes 2 years. But since I did it at the same time, there's classes that overlapped, so they only took me 4 years instead of 5 years to get it. Because quite honestly, I did not want to go back to school. I've been in school a long time. I really wanted to get on with it and start my career, so I got my master's degree at the same time. It was worth every semester of it. Yes?
So you said you do 5 cases, so the first one was criminal. Have
Yeah.
you ever dealt with a murder case?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
What was it about?
I can't talk about the details of it. I can just tell you that I've handled those types of cases. I know. We have rules. But it's a good question. It's very, they're very sensitive things that we deal with in court, but in order to protect the people, especially kids, these are kids just like you that, you need to be protected, just like your family, try to protect you and make sure that you're safe. We need to protect the privacy of the people that come into our court, and we do a very good job of that. Go ahead.
Which court do you work at?
I work at the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court. And it's a very specific court. We only deal with those 5 types of cases that I mentioned. We're in a totally separate building than any other court.
It's all under 18?
Yes, anybody under 18. Actually, I do deal with people over 18 for very interesting things. Sometimes kids, when they're sent away, they can be sent up till age 21. If I send a kid to what's called the Ohio Department of Youth Services, which is prison for kids, that's the worst that can happen to a kid. When everything else is exhausted, like when you've been grounded so many times and your parents finally you don't have the computer the rest of the school year kind of a thing, that's the worst thing that I have the ability to do is send them there. But they can stay there till they're 21, so still I will have interaction until they're 21 if needed. Yes?
A juvenile murder case?
So somebody who was 16 or 17 murdered somebody, probably.
Well, allegedly, yes.
Something like that.
They, and
Yeah.
there's some scary things out there.
Well, the young man who did the Sharpie shooting was under 18 too.
Yes, and that's something that you all, I'm sure, have talked about very appropriately in school, and that's exactly the type of stuff, if it doesn't happen. It does not happen every day. Please understand, it does not happen every day. But if it does happen, and as it was such a tragedy, it does need to be dealt with appropriately, and a child that's under 18 will come to the juvenile court. That's where they belong.
We just spent a week or so studying different occupations. Can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about the undergraduate degree and then the law, how you got into law school?
Sure. I said I wanted to go into a legal field. You don't need to have a government type major in order to get into law school. You can be an engineer and get into law school. There's really all kinds of different law that you can practice and learn. But I decided, I really did enjoy the law and the study of it, so I chose American government because I knew that I wanted to apply it in a very civic-minded way. I used to be on city council in Rocky River. I was elected to 3 terms in the city of Rocky River for that, because I knew that I wanted to give back to my community, so I wanted to learn as much about how American government worked as possible. So that's how I chose my path.
And the LSAT? And
Oh, the LSAT. You take a class, and then you get a test. It's like a pre-admission test, I guess. Have you talked about the SAT with them at all?
a little bit, yeah.
The SAT is for when you're going to college, and the ACT and the SAT. It's a test that determines your ability to think and logic skills as to how you